people are like, why are you making this? Who's this for? So I'm like getting that out of the way and giving out the facts, and then I don't care. And then they can
now there's evidence
yeah.
that you're going bananas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, this is Nam from Easy Sunday Club.
And this is Cathy.
And today we're going to compare the two most popular e-commerce platforms, Shopify and Squarespace.
Get excited.
Just to provide some background of why we're making this video, we made a previous video where we compared our experience of using Etsy and making the jump into making our own e-commerce platform site. So if you want to watch that, then the link will be in the show notes below. But now, if you are a maker or selling your own art or just selling things in general and you decided to go that route of making your own e-commerce site, we wanted to go through some of the analysis we went through on comparing the two most popular e-commerce sites out there, which are Shopify and Squarespace.
So we've been running our Etsy store for about a year before we started talking about building our own website to sell my products. We launched our website before we were ready, but it was one of the best decisions we made for the longevity of the business, which is why we wanted to make this video to share our experience and also to share some of the main considerations we had when choosing an e-commerce platform and what mattered to us as an e-commerce seller selling my creative work and products.
Yep. I know it can be a little scary and daunting of building your first site, but we're trying to help you along that journey because we want to give back to this community. So let's jump into our PowerPoint presentation, and it's only 2 slides, so it won't be death by PowerPoint, and we'll get into this analysis.
And feel free to take screenshots.
Yeah. So let's get into the first slide. So we made a simple matrix. We're going to be comparing a couple of high-level factors and be getting into the pros and cons of each. So we're going to be comparing Shopify versus Squarespace. So first thing is ease of use. So ease of use means how easy is it to use on a daily basis and just to get your site up and running. For Shopify, we found that there were easy to use templates and the editing interface was really easy. You don't need to have any prior HTML coding experience. They know that you are not a professional programmer, so they want you to be able to go there, or anyone to go in there and create their own site. However, if you do have coding experience, then there are ways to customize the code. So that time spent making that Angelfire webpage back in the 90s may come in handy if you have that knowledge. Squarespace, from our feedback on the internet, is a little bit more tricky to use. It's not as intuitive, and it also has a lot of trial and error when trying to figure out how things work. So just something to consider. But once you learn it, then you can figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, neither platform requires you to have any coding experience, so you're able to get a website up and running without having to code.
And once you get your website up and going to add new products, it's something that you can knowledge transfer to an assistant or to an employee. It's not that big of a deal. The second thing to consider is the design. The reason why you want to go through to make your own e-commerce site, as we discussed in the last video, is that you want to have your own personal branding and design and not something boring like what Etsy or Amazon provides, which is hardly any branding or design. For Shopify, they have 11 free templates and they have over 55 premium themes, which can range in price from $140 to $180. Compared with Squarespace, they have beautifully designed, modern, and sleek themes, and they have tens of hundreds, I think, that you can choose from. And from our feedback and our research, Squarespace is mainly made for designers, and they have really beautiful templates from what our research says. Mm-hmm. But as far as being able to just do what you want to do, Shopify is fine, but Squarespace is the winner in this category, and they also have industry-specific templates. So the next consideration is sales features. Ultimately, you want the site to be able to sell things. If you are not so focused on selling things and you just want to sell a couple things, but you are more interested in the design, then Squarespace is better at that. So if you're talking about product presentation, then that Squarespace is the winner, is better in that category. But if you want more capabilities, robust payments, different forms of payments, and different shipping options, then you want to go with Shopify, and they're the winner in that category. At the end of the day, both platforms allows you to manage inventory, and they have things like a POS, but I think Shopify is the winner in this category just if you are looking to expand your e-commerce business. The next category is help and support. If you are one that is not, that you're not super technical savvy and you want to reach out to someone to help, and you want to have a lot of forums and discussions with people about how to add different capabilities, Shopify is your winner. They have 24/7 support, and there's tons of forums that I've had to search through myself in order to figure out how to build certain capabilities or maintain our site. Squarespace, since less people are on it, there's less forums out there and information on how to use it, and they also have more limited support.
The Shopify community is also very active, so if you Google any of the issues that you're encountering, there's likely at least a few forums from the Shopify forums that discuss the solutions for each of those issues.
And in addition to that, if you want to look for Shopify tutorials, either written or on YouTube, or if you want to hire, take a class, there are definitely more resources regarding Shopify than Squarespace. Next thing to consider is the money. So both Shopify and Squarespace make their money by charging a monthly fee. I don't get into the details here, but basically Shopify has different tiers of sites. So $29 for basic, $79 for business, $299 for a big business. And for Squarespace, they have e-platforms that start for as low as $12 for something personal, then $18, $26, and up to $40 a month. So if fees is an issue, Squarespace is the winner in that category as well. There are other things that they provide for add-ons, for example, domain hosting support. So if you want to purchase your domain or have it maintained through Shopify or Squarespace, you can do that as well. We went ahead and got our domain through GoDaddy.com. The last thing is apps. So what apps are that there are additional tools that you can add to your website. In our example, we wanted an application on our website that allowed us to have Cathy's Instagram feed on our site. We used to have that in the beginning. We also wanted the capability to allow our customers to change the currency depending on what country they are in. So that doesn't come with the stock Shopify site, but there are applications or tools that you can either get for free or purchase and add those capabilities to your site. So for Shopify, they have a robust app store to customize your page in order to do this, and there's a huge community of app makers that continue to add additional features to Shopify. In comparison, Squarespace doesn't have an app store at all. So in conclusion, after comparing all the features, we believe Shopify is a better option for you if you want to build your own e-commerce platform to sell your art. Sure, Shopify is more expensive, but they offer 24/7 support, and they have more comprehensive features for e-commerce. It's also easier to build. Squarespace, on the other hand, is cheaper and they look more professional and sleek, but they support fewer e-commerce tools. And at the end of the day, it's okay if you're only selling a few items.
So the way I think about it, I think the ideal user for Squarespace is a photographer who wants to showcase their portfolio online, as well as releasing limited edition prints of their photography once in a while. Same goes for illustrators or fine artists who want an online portfolio of their work, but occasionally sells physical goods or have a limited number of physical goods. For Shopify is tailored towards more hardcore online sellers who have more number of SKUs, so number of unique products, and want more robust support around managing their inventory. So they have either higher quantity of goods or higher variety of products.
So we had to go through this analysis, as I mentioned earlier, and we decided to go with Shopify. When you are making your decision, along with all the considerations that you've already made, you have to think about what you want your company to turn into. If you just want to do if you're just looking at right now and looking at the 5 or 10 products that you have, maybe Etsy is okay, maybe Squarespace is okay. But if you're looking 3 to 5 years down the road and you want to continue to grow your business and have more and more capabilities, even though you can't visualize or see it yet, then you want to make a foundation on a platform that can expand to what you want to make, as opposed to having to start a site on Etsy and then a couple years when you're outgrowing it, move over to Squarespace, and then when you outgrow that, move over to Shopify.
Basically, you want to make the move before you're ready, which is what we did. It was nerve-wracking at first, and we only got a couple of sales the first holiday season from our Shopify site, and Etsy sales was still very consistent, but I was adamant about building my own brand on my own domain with my own e-commerce site. And a couple years later, we are making majority, over 90% of our online sales from my own website. And I'm also building an email list with my own website traffic, which again helps to strengthen my brand.
Yeah, so we can funnel customers directly to her site as opposed to relying on Instagram or Etsy or one of those other platforms that can change at any moment for sales. And just to give a call out, this transition wasn't super easy. Etsy, you barely have to think. All you have to do is just post items on there. When we finally made the decision to go with Shopify, I had to set aside a couple days. One, to learn how to set things up and how to use the templates. We have to go and choose a template, and then we had to post all of our art on the site, and then we had to create new workflows on how to fulfill items. But now that we are at this point where all of that is done and the initial setup is done, then we've operationalized it. It's easy to add new products, as easy as it is to add on Etsy. There's no fees when we add products. There's no commission fee that we have to pay to Etsy. We only have to pay the transaction fee for the credit card and the hosting fees. And also with Shopify, we've been able to use some of the other features, for example, inventory, or their POS. And also when we talk to other makers in the community, a lot of makers mainly use Shopify, so we're able to have that common language as well. So that wraps up this video. Please feel free to leave comments. We made this video based on feedback from the community, and we are more than happy to continue to give back to the community. Please subscribe, and we thank you so much for your support.